States Supreme Court has delivered a legal victory to U.S. President Donald Trump by restricting the power of federal judges to issue nationwide injunctions that block presidential policies. This decision came on the final day of the court's current term, with 6 conservative justices in the majority and the 3 liberal justices dissenting. The president has claimed this as a giant win and said that the quote-unquote birthright citizenship hoax has been hit hard due to the decision. The ruling stems from the case involving Trump's January executive order, which sought to deny birthright citizenship to children born in the U.S. unless at least one parent is a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. 3 federal judges had previously issued nationwide injunctions halting enforcement of that order. The Supreme Court has now ordered those lower courts to reevaluate the scope of their blocks. In her majority opinion, Justice Amy Coney Barrett has said that federal judges should generally limit relief to the plaintiffs involved in the case, not the entire nation. However, the court did not rule on the underlying legality of Trump's order, nor did it allow the policy to take effect immediately. Instead, the justices delayed implementation by at least 30 days. Vibhuti Jha, former Republican Party candidate, is joining us live from New York. Vibhuti, thank you for being with us today on NewsX World. What do you make of this order, and how big a victory is this for Donald Trump?
I would not look, thank you for having me. I wouldn't look at it from a victory-defeat scenario. Let's put it this way, law is law. In democracies, what happens is that, you have 3 branches. Democracy was never intended to, as told to me by a venerable American, democracy was never intended to be the most efficient form of governance, because it operates on the principle of checks and balances. Judiciary, executive, and legislature, they all operate as a check and balances for anybody's excess. So judiciary has now given a verdict. As an immigrant, I'm not against immigration at all. Whatever makes it easy, whatever makes it life easier for people. So in this particular instance, Justice Amy's opinion is a food for thought, that you cannot issue injunctions based on one person's complaint or one person's law that affects everybody. Now think about it, how it affects conversely. If I file something, why must it affect me? Why must it affect anybody else? It's my case. So when in the recent scenario, when Mr. Trump was trying to deport a whole lot of illegal immigrants who entered the country, the federal courts had ruled that you have to file separate cases to adjudicate for their exit from the country. So why not the same law? This is the issue which people are getting confounded with. And politics is dangerous. It's very dangerous, very tricky, because people exploit the emotions of people. That's why I said, in India, if all of us would remember emergency and committed judiciary, the statement that then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi had talked about, that justices must give rulings in favor of the government because we appoint you. This is a very interesting scenario on the operation of the justice system, because, same thing, Justice Jackson's talk about the imperialism of executive was decried by Justice Amy, by saying you can't have imperialism of judiciary as well. So you look at it from this point of view, rules and laws are always played upon by lawyers for one side or the other. There is no law that is made that can't be challenged in the court of law, and where there already no 2 opinions exist. So in my opinion, one thing is very true, and last word I want to just say, just as a case filed in a Kadapa or Jhumri Taliya court can't be applied to all India, this also begs that same question.
What ramifications then would this order have, Vibhuti, on the birthright citizenship policy of Donald Trump?
The birthright is a very tricky issue. The US Constitution provides that anybody born in America is an American citizen. But remember one thing, there are people who also abuse laws. So I know on a personal basis, people who are operating the entire birthright racket in this country, people coming from all over the world. I won't name countries right now, but people are doing tourism, birthright tourism, that you come to America, become a citizen, and go back. And it applies to also, unfortunately, I know a case or many such cases Where I came on an L1 visa or expat visa for a 2-year assignment, my child becomes a US citizen, and I am already saying my child will be the president of the United States because he or she is born here. So there are certain lacunas in that entire scenario. Just like Sonia Gandhi was not allowed, Sharad Pawar was the one who filed the case against her that she is not born Indian, so she can't be a prime minister of the country. So each country has to have its own rules, and to that end, I suspect legally this matter will be solved, but it definitely puts significant amount of immigrants into significant inconveniences, because now if there's some things have gone against them, they will have to file a lawsuit. Whether the class action will work or not, we do not know. Proves my point. To say it lightly on a Saturday morning, law is an ass. Deal with it.
Okay. However, we are on a national channel.